Left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Yo, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Everybody, sound off.
Sound off.
In the front, sounding weak. In the middle, sounding weak. In the rear, tighten it up. If you stop, you're gonna drop. Can't stop, running. PT, so good. All the way, all the way. Left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Motivated, dedicated. Number one, from the sun. Super duper, paratrooper. Everybody, clap your hands. Sound off. 1, 2, 3, 4, hey.
1, 2, 3, 4, hey.
Run, we gonna run all the way, hey.
Run, we gonna run all the way, hey.
Early this morning about 2:45.
Early this morning about 2:45.
My branch chief was drinking tea.
My branch chief was drinking tea.
He had black hats standing all around his desk.
Black hats standing all around his desk.
He had 12 green hats in the leaning rest.
Had 12 green hats in the leaning rest.
He said, bring smoke today, everybody.
Bring smoke today, everybody.
Bring smoke on Joe, everybody.
Bring smoke on Joe, everybody.
Left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Yo, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left.
Your left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Fired up, motivated, fired up, dedicated. So me and Superman had a fight.
Well, me and Superman had a fight.
I hit him in the head with some kryptonite.
I hit him in the head with some kryptonite.
I hit him so hard that I busted his brain.
I hit him so hard that I busted his brain.
And now I'm dead in Lois Lane.
And now I'm dead in Lois Lane.
Left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Yo, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left.
Your left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
1, 2, 3, 4, hey!
1,
come on now,
2,
everybody now,
3,
clap your hands now,
4, hey!
What's sounding better now,
2,
don't stop,
3,
all right now,
4, hey!
Are you ready
2,
to run along
3,
with me?
4, hey!
Get yourselves
2,
motivated. Left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Yo, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left.
Your left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Everybody, sound off.
Sound off.
In the front, sounding weak. In the middle, sounding weak. In the rear, tighten it up. If you stop, you're gonna drop. Can't stop, running. PT, so good. All the way, all the way. Left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left.
Your left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Motivated, dedicated. Number one, from the sun. Super duper, paratrooper. Everybody, clap your hands. Sound off. 1, 2, 3, 4, hey.
1, 2, 3, 4, hey.
Run, we gonna run all the way, hey.
Run, we gonna run all the way, hey.
Early this morning about 2:45.
Early this morning about 2:45.
My branch chief was drinking tea.
My branch chief was drinking tea.
He had black hats standing all around his desk.
Black hats standing all around his desk.
He had 12 green hats in the leaning rest.
Had 12 green hats in the leaning rest.
He said, bring smoke today, everybody.
Bring smoke today, everybody.
Bring smoke on Joe, everybody.
Bring smoke on Joe, everybody.
Showtime.
Good morning.
Good morning, and how are you today?
Good.
I just forwarded you the picture of I'm down at the Naval Park yesterday of the Children's Toy Museum, and sponsored by Fisher Price, and it's right across the street from the museum of the Naval Park and the Naval Park itself.
so hard that I busted his brain.
Cool.
And now I'm
Well,
dating
Mazzaro, the
Lois Lane.
director, was on vacation. He was not there yesterday, so couldn't talk to him.
Left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, hell.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, hell.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
1, 2, 3, 4, hey!
One,
come on now,
2,
everybody now,
3,
clap your hands now.
4, hey!
One sounding better now,
2,
don't stop.
3,
All right now,
hey!
are you ready
2,
to run along
3,
with me?
4, hey!
Get yourselves motivated. Left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, hell.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, right, oh, left, hell.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Everybody, sound off.
Sound off.
In the front, sounding weak.
Sounding weak.
In the middle, sounding weak.
Sounding weak.
In the rear, tighten it up. If you stop, you're gonna drop. Can't stop, running. PT, so good, all the way.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Well, fine. God bless you. Good to hear your voice there, Mary. You're such a
Already reporting for duty, sir.
Oh, hello, Brother Ron. God bless. Sounds like a good show today.
Hey, it'll give you a little blast from your past. Don't you miss you were out there running to that again?
Well, yes and no, but I just got to be happy with what we have today as long as we're healthy and happy and just
He was in the officers' club, Mary. He wasn't out there running like troops.
Hey, officers ran just as much as the soldiers did. And honestly, I would not have passed my boot camp final march and run without my lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up hitting a hole and messing up my knee pretty bad. And he stopped and came back behind me and came with me the whole time and kept me going. He actually took his hands and would help hold my backpack up or your rucksack up to help alleviate some of that weight just so I could finish the march. Otherwise, you don't graduate boot camp.
Well, you did a great job, Mary. God bless you. You're here with
I
us.
crawled the last mile, but you know what? I made it.
Yay. Well, that's because you're a winner.
Oh, I was not doing it again. If you don't pass, you got to go back and do it all over again. No.
You did well, and you're still doing even better these days, Mary.
Thank you, sir.
What a wonderful senior advisor to the Golden Rule Society charity you are. Wow. And we've only been doing this for 53 years now. And
Len, yesterday, Lynn and I had the privilege. We needed to go downtown, and we stopped in at one of your spots. I'll call it one of your watering holes. You were down at the Buffalo Naval Park, where you were the keynote speaker speaking to the Memorial Day crowd at the Buffalo Naval Park, and on Memorial Day 2 years ago. And we were just reminiscing about that day. You know, since you left, then one of the items that they have on show it's a museum of Navy. Of course, it's a naval park. So we had we have some planes on display, and they had a PT boat. And at that time, they were just starting to restore it. They have completed the restoration, the paint job. It looks like brand new, like it just came out of the factory. And when I was growing up, the movie, about Jack Kennedy, the movie of PT 109, the story and the movies, I never understood the size of that boat. It's a wood boat. It's not a Navy ship. It is, but it's a wood boat. And the size of that thing was huge. And now that they've restored it, and, you can, you're right in front of it. I mean, like 10 feet away from it. It was just so impressive, and to realize part of our military all through the years and now still we have the best of the best in every way that we can create to defend ourselves and be the light of the world for service, safety, and world peace. And you, of course, were huge in keeping us that way. In fact, you were so well trained and you were so much a leader, you became a instructor, flight instructor. You also, I know you flew over 106 flights. What do they call them when you fly a sort? When you go on a sortie, when you go on a mission, you went over 106 flights during Vietnam War. You flew in one time in a week, or more, well, about a week. You sold 2 days. You flew 6 different aircraft. I mean, and then you were in the Gabon zone. You were in the military. You were in war, and you flew 6 different. You knew your instructions, your capabilities, your training had prepared you, and you were ended up doing that. And then later, of course, you were traveling around the world as the representative of the United States government, as the interpreter and representative for our country when you went to Spain and all of Europe and everywhere around the world. And when you were in Spain, you helped get the Blue Angels launched in Spain. And I was reading some of your background when you were doing that. And that was just that season in your life. You went on then become a commercial pilot and did great things. Then you really, in the whole process, you created Optimize My Life and the Golden Rule Society. Man, I'm telling you. And then, oh, you weren't done yet. Then you had to go and start the Kindness Club, which today I'd like you to take a few minutes as you
Can I
continue.
do the intro first?
I would love. I'm sorry, Mary. I got so excited I couldn't stop talking about Len Kaine today.
All right. Welcome to
God bless
Unveiling Valor, the show where courage, compassion, and service come to life. Hosted by Captain Len Kaine, a Nobel Peace Prize nominee, the founder of the Golden Rule Society and the Kindness Club. The series shines a light on the unsung heroes, everyday warriors, and changemakers who live values of honor, kindness, and purpose. Each episode explores military veterans, community leaders, and inspiring advocates who turn adversity into action. Whether you're a patriot, a parent, or someone searching for hope, Unveiling Valor reminds us all that true heroism begins with the heart. And welcome our hosts today and co host, Captain Len Kaine and Ron Clayton.
It's an honor to be here with you, Mary Stanley. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Mary Stanley is one of the senior advisors in our Golden Rule Society charity. We've only got 16 of them, and Mr. Ron Clayton is also a senior advisor in a Golden Rule Society charity. Basically, we're all non-paid volunteers, and we're helping to make it a better world. And that's the nice part about it. And I invite everybody, be sure that you have a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen handy to take some notes, because we have wonderful opportunities and gifts for you. And I'm going to say this again and again, we're not selling anything. That's the nice part. And you can, whatever we offer you, you can share with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your church, and your charities, whoever you want to do that. Because that's the nice part about it. We're busy helping to make it a better world. And as mentioned, I'm honored, humbled, really, to be nominated 5 times for the Nobel Peace Prize. And they told me that in 2014, I was number 2 in the world. And of course, I had a conversation with the people in the Nobel Peace Prize are over in Europe, and jokingly talked, and I said, hey, I don't want to be number 2 anywhere. I want to be number 1. And they laughed. But I said, because when I was a Navy fighter pilot, I was the East Coast Top Gun and the Old Navy Top Gun. And for those of you who have seen the movie, I jokingly tell people that when the movie came out, after I was a top gun, and they said, "Hey, Len, maybe we can get you as the star of the show, of the movie." And I said, "Well, I don't think I really want to do that sort of a thing." But they said, "Well, we're going to go to Hollywood and get the star of the show." I said, "Okay, get a good one." And the show is terrific. Everybody who watches that Top Gun movie, they really enjoy it. And that's the nice part about it. And I wanted to mention, and Ron Clayton mentioned the fact that I flew 6 different airplanes in 2 days. And the point is, at that time, I was an instructor pilot because having done all that Top Gun stuff, they made me an instructor. And it was really fun. But on in combat training, what I was doing was updating the tactics of combat flying, 3-dimensional tactics. And they gave it a nickname. We call it the CAT program, Kaine Air Tactics. And 3-dimensional maneuvering. And in 2 days, I flew 6 different type airplanes. Not the same airplane, 6 different type airplanes in 2 days. I was scheduled for a 7th one, but I was pulling so many G's. I said, I don't think I could do this at a 7th because I might just fall asleep or get caught. Anyway, all in good fun. But that set a Navy record. And later on, I found out it set a world record. And I said, well, that's really nice to have a world record. I said, but how come I don't get paid anything for that? All in good fun. But while we're talking about that, I'm going to stay on it. The tactics that we developed, it became the primary program in the Navy's Top Gun school. And when I took my squadron over in combat, over in Vietnam, using those tactics, we were the first Navy squadron that did not lose a single airplane in the 6-month deployment, a Navy record. As a matter of fact, we're kind of proud to announce it, or let you know that during that time frame, the Air Force heard about what I was doing, the tactics, and they sent this gentleman who happened to be an ace in World War II, and wonderful man. He was in charge of the Air Force developed and running in combat over in the Pacific. So he and his executive officer came over to the USS Enterprise. It was an aircraft carrier. And I like to say that the aircraft carrier, we were the largest concentration of controlled nuclear power in the world. In other words, we had 8 nuclear reactors downstairs boiling water. But it was a great ship, wonderful ship. And they came out and spent almost a full day, and I kept the briefings on how to do the tactics. And they were very receptive. They were really impressed with what was going on. And they were in charge of the Air Force combat aircraft that were fighting over in Vietnam, up at altitude, where we were. But anyway, after the briefing, maybe 5 or 6 days later, I got a message from the general, and he said, Len Kaine, I just want to tell you something. Using your tactics, we virtually cut our losses in half, and we're working harder on it than ever to get everybody to stay alive. And ladies and gentlemen, you just got to understand or think about what a wonderful freeing it is in your heart to know that you're saving lives. And that was Navy combat. Delightful, absolutely really great. And then after finishing my career in the Navy, 26 years, I retired. As a matter of fact, the last job that I had in the Navy was the commanding officer of Fighter Squadron 301. Nice round number. And the general, or the, I should say, not the general, but the admiral in charge of the Navy air traffic, he had an award for the very top 5 squadrons in the Navy, and he gave them rewards. And congratulations for the top 5. Well, you've got to take a wild guess, and guess who won all 5 of the awards that year? Fighter Squadron 301 won every award. And it was amazing because we were just doing our magic, trying to keep it going. Everybody was happy. And I'll tell you one thing, everybody was kind. And that kindness campaign is going nationwide and worldwide. And the kindness campaign all started when I graduated high school, going on to the Navy. Day after graduated high school, I'm off to the Navy, and my mother stopped me and she said, "Len, I want you to remember this. Wherever you go, whatever you do, whoever you meet, be kind." And those 2 words are in my heart and my soul and my mind. And we keep doing it, and we keep telling people, be kind and courteous and help make it a better world. That's why we're here. We're here to serve. And that was really super duper at the time. As a matter of fact, I guess I got to brag a little bit. I was the youngest officer in the Navy, promoted to captain. And then 2 years later, I got this notice that I was selected for not a 1-star, but a 2-star admiral. Wow. And I was really very proud and pleased about that. But I'm touching my lips now, just over behind them, near my eyes. I had to go through 3 surgeries. That kind of took me down, and I was unable to take the job of the 2-star admiral. And I guess maybe it saved my life. Who knows? But it kept me going, and I'm still here. It's just Captain Len Kaine, U.S. Navy retired. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to impress you so much as to let you know that this what you're getting on this show from the Hope Collection. Incredible. And where did the Hope Collection come from? How did Ron Clayton get involved? Well, there was a gentleman by the name of Joel Griffin. He was in the military, and he was a graduate of Penn State. Touches my heart because I grew up in Pennsylvania. But the point is, what a brilliant man he was. He was a senior advisor to 3 of the presidents of the United States of America. Not 1, not 2, but 3 of them. That's the quality of the man that he was. Wonderful. And one day, when I was putting on my own program, I got a call from him on the telephone. He introduced himself, told me who he was. And I said, "Well, yeah, wow, good. I've heard about you. Your sounds great." I said, "What can I do for you?" He said, "Len, I'd like to be accepted as a senior advisor in the Golden Rule Society charity." And I always tell everybody, it took me about a second and a half to say, "Welcome aboard." And what a wonderful man he was. And he put together this organization called the Hope Collection. Hope for you, hope for everybody. And he was the man in charge. And he asked me to be part of the program. And he was a senior advisor in our Golden Rule Society charity. Sadly, cancer got him. And the good Lord called him to heaven. So he's gone there. His wife is still with us. And Mr. Ron Clayton, who you heard his wonderful voice a little earlier on the show, He is now the president of the Hope Collection and doing a great, great job. There's so many things that I can tell you about him. But the nice part, he is a senior advisor in the Golden Rule Society charity. And we all do that. Why? Helping to make it a better world. And why not? We want you to join up. You can be associated with the Golden Rule Society. Doesn't cost you any money, and there are no meetings to go to, no demands on you, other than the fact that just be part of what we call the Worldwide Kindness Campaign. And it's the Golden Rule Society Charity's Worldwide Kindness Campaign. And we've been doing this for 53 years. And it's very simple. You might want to write this down. I'll make it say it slowly, but you're going to be able to get it when you visit our website. But I want to tell you what the Golden Rule Society Worldwide Kindness Campaign sounds like. And it goes like this. With kindness and love and hope in your heart for peace in the world, treat others the way you want to be treated, truthfully, with dignity and respect. When you do that, you're sharing the love that your God gives you with others. And when you do it with a smile, because that's why we're here, to serve. And that's what it's all about. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a short little break here to sip on my coffee, and I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Ron Kaine, who has many nice things to say, and I have some wonderful things to tell you about him. But Ron, over to you while I sip a coffee. I'm standing by to jump right back in. Over to you, Ron.
Florida, Port Canaveral, this weekend, you'd actually be able to see, or in the next week, on the Carnival cruise ship Freedom, Len Kaine and his wife Ann will be traveling with a group of folks from the shows here and around the world. And we're going on the Freedom Cruise to Turks and Caicos and hanging out a nice, wonderful retreat for all those that are coming down. And we're real exciting. Carnival Cruise has a special veteran salute time on board the ship. And everybody's invited to come. It's announced. It's pre-announced on the schedule of the day, itinerary of the days. And on the Friday, a week from today, Len Kaine will be honored in front of the entire population of the ship, the cruise ship, and I have the cruise director will be introducing and running a special presentation show recognizing all our heroes that have served the country, including Captain Len Kaine, Rear Admiral Len Kaine. And we're so proud and excited about that. We've got some great things lined up, and we're going to be heading down there in the warm weather. It's been rather cool up in the Buffalo area, and I know there's some bad storms that have gone through the country. And we've been fortunate. We're going to a nice warm time, but we want to know and recognize. If you ever have an opportunity to go online and look up the biography of Captain Len Kaine, you just minute after minute, sentence after sentence after sentence, you recognize what a blessing he has been to so many people and still is, and has done so many things as an example. Just this kid out of Scranton, BA, and he's a hero and world renowned, and we salute him. And that's what the show is about. And he's done so many wonderful things. Continuing, he brought to the Golden Rule Society and the Hope Collection members. People can call yourself and join in, be a member, sign up. And when you do that, you can take advantage of these services that this one company he brought to the group called Intiva Health. And he can tell you some stories about Intiva Health, the company. Let me share with you what you can get from them. They have programs for recognition of being able to, you can have a test done, a swab test, genetic, where they can tell the doctor, your doctor, specifically what medications they or medicines they shouldn't give you because they will cause harm to you. And this test is done, and they mail you the kit, and it's a swab, and you sign a bag, and then they give you a binder with all the info that you hand over to your primary care, or if you're having a surgeon, they can see. They might prevent you from having a bad attack from an anesthesia that you might have for surgery, or you might be getting a cold remedy or something, or blood pressure medicine, or anything, but it'll tell your doctor and what not to give you, save you a lot of problems of getting sicker or die. And because of Len Kaine's affiliation, association, and bring this organization to us, we can more put this service out to the world. It does cost, if you don't have any insurance, it costs $200. But what kind of life-saving information is that? If many insurance companies are covering it today, so check with your insurance company. Another thing, Len Kaine, in terms of bringing up to my Tiva Health to us, in recent years, last couple years, they have been developers and manufacturers. An American company in Arizona and Texas, they have been the largest producers and now number one in the world. Everybody's familiar with gummy bears. Well, gummy bears and all, they now have a pharmaceutical application, and the material is made pharmaceutical grade, organic. Then companies like Whole Foods, CVS Drugs, and many other of the largest pharmaceutical producers in the world are using this product that they produce. They are the number one supplier in the world. Now that's really special. We're here out of the president's trying to talk today. This brings many companies manufacturing from overseas. Well, Intiva never went overseas. They've always been based American. And Len will tell you a little bit about the founder and the company here in a second. They also, one of their divisions, they have a specialty program where everybody in the world that gets educated in some college in the medical field, not only do they have to get a certificate, they passed the courses, they took study and practice. Well, they can't just go and start practicing because I went to school. They have to get certified. Intiva Health is the number one company in the world. They have a program and a system where they get the doctor and they get their information, or the nurse, person in the medical field, get them certified so they can go to work in the field in the hospitals and medical supply companies and manufacturers. And they are, again, the largest and the fastest. They develop systems that are dynamic. And so that's another division. They also have a healthcare division that's actually they set up, and they have companies in communities where they have healthcare systems. So, these are just some of many things that Intiva Health has brought. During COVID, the way that we were able to get, the first time in the history of the world, from start to finish, they were able to go through and create the material to create a vaccine, had never been done before. In 9 months, because of the communication system that the founder of Intiva Health did, he developed, the medical research companies were able to talk to each other securely, and then they were able to bring the history and the science and everything together. And in 9 months, they got a vaccine that has saved millions and millions of lives. There's controversy. I don't disagree with that. But the point is that they were able to accomplish something that never happened before. And it's because of Intiva Health. So we're really proud of our relationship with the organization. So as I've carried on a little bit, Len, you want to pick up on that again?
Oh, I'd be happy to, because there's so many nice things to say about it. And ladies and gentlemen, here's how it started. Because I mentioned to you that I was flying as a fighter pilot over Vietnam. And who's on the ground? The Marines. And you never really saw them. You never could talk to them because I'm up high, they're down low. But years later, a gentleman by the name of Jim Kyle, who was a Marine officer, he retired, and he was also an attorney. And we met, And what a wonderful man he is, still and always will be. And he's going to be on the cruise with us. Looking forward to seeing him again. But he called me one day and he said, Len, you've got to get down to Texas to meet this gentleman, Alexander Candelario. I said, okay, you insist, because so I left California, went down to Texas to meet him. He was medically discharged because he was injured in combat, and he was in college and studying, and he's a brilliant man. When I got to meet him, and we had a nice chat, I spent a couple hours with him, and he showed me and was showing me what he's doing, and I said I couldn't believe what he was doing and the technology that he had. Brilliant. And long story short, what I did was say, Alexander, here's what we're going to do. We're going to fund your organization. We're going to create your corporation and put you in business because what you've got going is so helpful, going to be saving the lives here, there, and everywhere. And as mentioned by Ron Clayton, we are the organization Intiva Health. And what does Intiva mean? Informational technology, video and audio. Acronym, but that's the name, Intiva Health. And again, we're number one in the world supporting the medical industry. And let me give you a little example. What happens in the latter part of this month? My wife Ann and I, we're in California. We're going over to Arizona, and we're going to help raise the flag on the third manufacturing plant over there. It's all of it in Intiva. And the new plant is only 5 times bigger than the previously 2 plants. Can you imagine the 5 times larger than 2 other? Oh my goodness. We're going to be there, and everybody's going to be saying, what a wonderful feeling it is, because I tell everybody, my wife Ann and I, we wake up in the morning and say, oh, I wonder how many lives we saved today, because that's exactly what's happening. People are saying, oh my goodness, I'm dead. I'm going, no, wait a while. The doctors say, hey, we got this good stuff. The book, oh my goodness, coming right out of Intiva Health. It's magical, I should say. And that's why we're doing. It's just a happy, happy feeling to know that, because you got to get involved in it. And I asked you if you get your pencil and paper, and I want you to give me some gifts. And I want you to copy this. And I think most everybody knows how to do it. And when you're ready, it's very simple. It's a website, and which means it starts with www.goldenrulesociety. That's all one word, no spaces. goldenrulesociety.org. Org means it's an organization, charitable, nonprofit, tax exempt, nationwide, worldwide. And when you get there, you're going to find that most everything is free, except some things are better than free. And what you're going to find there, as Mr. Ron Clayton has been talking about, in Intiva Health, you can access it and see all the wonderful things that are going on, the opportunities. And you got to share that with your doctor, your nurse, your hospital, whoever you want to tell about. Because I talk to doctors every time I meet one. I said, are you familiar with the Intiva Health? I said, oh, yes, we've heard about it. I said, have you visited the site? Well, I really haven't had a chance yet. I said, do it right now, whenever it's convenient. And usually a couple, 3 days later, they call me back and said, Len, why didn't you tell me about this sooner? Because it's incredible. It just helps make it a better world for everybody. And on and on. So That's Intiva Health. So it's worth it, worth looking at, because we're talking about Ron Clayton when he took over the organization Hope for You. Hope for You, it's also available on the website, is helping the needy worldwide. It's a program we have there. It's called Success for You, and it's educational, motivational, inspirational, character building guidance for everybody. The success is for you, and we guarantee it. Because what people have done, and I tell them, they say, how do I get it? And I tell people who listen to the show, 97 countries, I say, just all you do is send Golden Rule Society, you send it to me with the stamped self-addressed envelope, because we don't get paid, so we can't afford to be selling it. But what you do is you send it to Golden Rule Society, and that's Post Office Box 711. That's easy to remember. And it's in Coronado, California, 92118. So when you do, when we get your stamped self-addressed envelope, we open it up, we put this, what we call a kindness, but that is going to guarantee you're going to be more successful in life. On one side is an action plan for living, how to live a life that's going to be pleasant and delightful and enjoyable, because it's part of kindness. And the other side is an action plan for business, how to be more successful in business. Don't make the mistakes that have already been made. And you follow them, and people, we say you're going to give you a better, successful life in business and in your life yourself. And I said, I'd give you a money back guarantee, but I can't because it's free. That's the nice part about it. And a lot of people, they do put a donation in there, but I wanted to let you know, whatever Golden Rule Society, whatever we get, we give. We pay for our electrical bill, for the computer, for the corporation, but we don't get paid. And we just, whatever donations, we give it to the charities that are in need, here, there, and everywhere. That's the nice part about it. And so many other things that I mentioned now. And I got to tell you about a little something about the kindness campaign that goes nationwide and worldwide. Now, Mary Stanley is something special, and she's got two wonderful children. And one day her daughter came back from school and talked to her mom and said, Mom, this is kindness campaign is wonderful. And she says, why don't we have each classroom in the school have a kindness club? And Mary Stanley talked to me about that, and I said, Mary Stanley, what a wonderful idea from your daughter. So here's the point now. The kindness club does no interference with whatever the teacher is trying to teach. No conflict. But the kindness club are the students themselves. Instead of arguing with one another and all, they're kind to one another. And it makes it a fun part about going to school. So, and here's one of the things that I just want to share with you, because this goes full credit to Mary Stanley, senior advisor in the Golden Rule Society, served in the military, very successful, wonderful personality, brilliant lady, I think. And she said, Len, I want to let you know, we now are in over 1,000 classrooms in schools. They have the kindness clubs. because really our goal, and we're working on it, is to have a kindness club in every classroom, in every school, in every city, in every state in the United States. And if we're going to do that, we might as well do it for every school in every country in the world. Why not? Kindness, it works and it helps. And when the people believe in it and are living it, why not? Because this business of people fighting wars and killing one another and bombing, all that's madness. Why don't we just have a wonderful world where we can just share with one another and be kind? Why not? That sounds better to me, and it sounds better to everybody. So I just had to share that with you because Mary Stanley, God bless you now and always. You keep up your great work, and we just got to keep going with it because we have some other opportunities that are available to you when you go to our website. We have a program where we have video emails, and everybody said, "What's that?" And this is a video emails that I use all the time, and I make them very short, maybe a minute or two at most, where instead of writing out big long letters and all that emails, I talk to people on a video email. I send it to them. They see see my smile. They see my personality. And I talk to them about what we're doing to help them. And it really works out very, very well. And I keep it short. I don't know if it's short and sweet, but at least it's short. But it conveys to them what we're working and doing together to help make it a better world. And it's terrific. The video emails. And there is a fee for that. I don't get any of that money, but those opportunities, and you can select whatever organization you want. The best deal on videos of share warmth and kindness. And we also have for you what we call a prescription discount program. Now, people say, what is that? And I know that it's here in the United States. It may not be in all the other countries. But I heard about it, and I walked into a drugstore one day with a prescription from my doctor. And I asked the guy, I said, hey, are you a member of the prescription discount program? And he looked back and forth, and he said, Len, we're not. But here's the deal. Across the street, a couple, 3 or 4 blocks down, there's a drugstore over there that does, and that are involved with the prescription discount program. Because the discounts, or the savings, I should say, I've been told they're as high as 80% some of the time. It depends on whatever you get. But here's the point. If you don't ask, you're not going to get it because they just don't advertise it. But many of the drugstores are part of the program because it brings them more business and it's available. So that's what we're doing. And it goes to, and I just say all the wonderful things that are happening, and especially this cruise trip on the name of the ship, the Freedom, all appropriate. It's a Carnival cruise program out of Florida, and we're just going to have a good time there for a week. And I'm just honored to be honored. I should say I'm humbled to be honored. And it's going to be a nice big presentation. I'm going to have to wear my Navy white uniform, captain uniform. My wife Ann, we're going to be there together. And of course, Ron Clayton and a few other people are going to be there and representing the Golden Rule Society and the Hope Collection. And we're just simply saying this, we're helping to make it a better world for you and yours. Because, a kindness is never wasted. And you know who said that first, ever got credit for it? a gentleman by the name of Aesop. I don't know how many years, 1,000 years ago that was, but it's still true to this day, and it'll be true forever. Kindness is never wasted. So keep up your own kindness, stay well, take good care, and stay in touch because this show comes on 5 days a week. And put together, Mary Stanley gets so much credit for everything. And it's on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm humbled and honored to be the keynote speaker on Fridays. And I hope that we have tugged at your heartstrings and just made you feel like, hey, I'm going to have a better world, a better life starting today because I've got the information. I've got the kindness campaign and I've got the place to go to see the Golden Rule Society and all the gifts that they offer. Remember what I said? It's www.goldenrulesociety.org. And you can share it with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your church, or your charity. That's why we're here. We're here to serve. So, Mary, I'd like to turn it back over to you and to Ron to make sure that we haven't overlooked anything. And that's why we're here. So I'm going to say bye-bye for now, but I'm hanging in here just in case you need me to see, cover and support you with anything you need. Over to you, Ron. Over to you, Mary.
All right. Thank you, sir. So next week, with everybody gone, I'll be co-hosting a lot of the shows. And when they return, May 17th is Armed Forces Day. And so we'll be hosting a week of shows dedicated to active service members and all the different things that they do with special guests of active service members, talking about why they joined the branches they did and their families, and our honor and our respect goes out to those still serving.
It's going to be a wonderful treat. And I know while we're gone, you're going to be probably, I know you'll be joined by former officer Rick Reese. His fame in the Air Force was that he was in charge of the group. I don't know what you call them, but his squad were the guys that put the satellites for GPS in orbit. I believe there's 11 original that went up so that we could go to our phones and instead of going into fighting with our wives before we go in the little mini mart or gas station to get directions. Now we can just go to our phones because it's all automatic. Well, that's because Rick Reese, who was an engineer in the Air Force and an officer, ran the program that put that miraculous system of communications in place. And we're so blessed. And he and his wife pioneered the travel industry, which we discuss on Tuesdays. Not just the travel itself, but actually opportunities, income opportunities, careers, and ways to get connected to take advantage of doing that. And Mary helps us with that. She actually is developing a program. Many know Mary is she's a leader in the revelation of changing the neurodiversity aspects of understanding in the world, how we treat people, children and adults who have neurodiverse issues. One of the ones that's most commonly seen is autism. And she has just become an incredibly world renowned because she's working with organizations and doctors around the world, and she has established she's got a shingle. She's practicing the system of helping people improve the lives of their family and their children, and be able to change the way that the world viewed and handles and helps people move forward in their life in such an incredible way. And she's developing a program for helping parents with neurodiverse children so that they can travel. Most of them, up till now, there really hasn't been the most families that are dealing with children like this. They don't go anywhere because they haven't had help and instruction on how to maximize how a child, even having the issue of neurodiversity, can be worked to help and make and actually propel a successful venture like a vacation or just to travel to go see somebody in another town. Mary actually took a group of kids. Now, not all of them were autistic, but she has two autistic children. They came to Buffalo. Group 40 of them came to Buffalo for a major international Buffalo Naval Park salute on Memorial Day that our guest today, Captain Len Kaine, Admiral Len Kaine, spoke to thousands at the waterfront at the Buffalo Naval Park. And he also came to our church and spoke to our church on Sunday before the event. And he and his wife traveled up here to Buffalo, and we have him. It was such a special, special time. And Mary's kids participated. And at one point, the group of kids that they brought were actually on stage leading the Pledge of Allegiance to the entire crew, the entire audience of people there at the ceremony. And I'm just so proud because they demonstrated incredible awareness and ability to perform and actually produce. And they had the privilege, they got to sleep on board the ships for an overnighter. It was a camp out, and that was in Mary. Why don't you tell a little bit about that?
So this is where neurodiversity, especially the regality and the mapping skills that a lot of autistic kids have naturally, come into perfect play. So they had to line up in a grid format because military is all about dress right dress, organization, perfect rows, 2,500 flags. So my son spent 4 hours walking up and down every day those flags and adjusting them without string to make sure they all lined up right. And when he was done, he had the huge sense of accomplishment. He was happy. Where the rest of us are like, oh, we just want to go home. It's very long days for me. So they got to do the Pledge of Allegiance. They got to walk up with the color guard. And I am so thankful for the active members of the color guard because the Boy Scout uniforms are not very neurodiverse friendly. They're very sensory uncomfortable. And a good example would be you trying to fit into a pair of pants that are like 5 sizes too small. That you have to the point where you have to lay down on the floor to button them. How uncomfortable are you? For them, some clothes, that's what it feels like. Or like or having sandpaper and using that to scrub yourself with. That's some of the things that they feel. Well, my daughter has that issue. And so one of the gentlemen in the color guard actually showed her how to fake tuck in her shirt, how to fold her shirt just right, crease it just right. So it looks like it's folded in and looks dress, but wasn't.
And so she was able to partake and enjoy the day. In fact, the
I was going
weekend.
to let her partake regardless if she ran around with just a t-shirt on. I didn't care. Because of her issues, and they weren't willing to be accommodating. That isn't my problem. When they knew from day one. And that's the one thing that I talk about. And when I have a couple shows on here for neurodiverse families and how to have your voice and how if they're not willing to accommodate you, then they need to accept you and deal with it because they do have legitimate reasons and it is accepted by the Disabilities Act. And so it needs to be recognized and approved and, dealt with. Because if the military was willing to accept her the way it was and understood if she couldn't deal that with her shirt, that they were okay with her not having a shirt on, then everyone else should have been okay with it.
And everything worked out wonderfully.
It did. You always plan for the worst and hope for the best.
Well,
Good.
speaking of planning for the worst and being prepared, you stated this is the first trip that the kids ever made. Oh, by the way, did I say it was a 14-hour trip that it took to get here to Buffalo from Minnesota? After that drive, they came and they went right to work. They went right down to the naval park and the ships to put out the flags for the ceremony. Then they finally at night they were going to sleep on the ship that night, but they really didn't. But they were staying on that the next night. they were staying at a hotel outside of town, and the hotel accommodated. Mary, talk about what that hotel did to accommodate you and the kids.
Oh, it was phenomenal. So because I let them know ahead of time that both the kids were special, they had someone always around the desk, and they always had the cameras being watched. And so we didn't stay on the ship because the kids were just too overwhelmed and just exhausted. So went back to the hotel. My son left. He walked out of the room. We thought. I heard the door slam, which is what woke me up. Well, he ended up laying in between his sister's legs in the bed, covered up with the blanket. So when you felt the bed, you only felt his sister. You didn't feel her. And we didn't think to pull the blanket up because you don't feel him, so you don't think he's there. So the hotel, by the time I literally walked not far, we weren't far from the front desk, to the front desk, and I was on the phone with 911, they already had going through footage. By the time I finished on the phone with 911, we already had a cop at the hotel we were staying at, one searching the grounds outside, one inside, and they ended up bringing 5 cops in. Blew my mind. And they were already going through footage to see that he did leave the room, but he came back in the room, so we knew he was somewhere in the room. And luckily, one of the cops sat down on the bed after he strip searched the whole room, except for where my daughter slept, and they slept through the whole thing. Mom's freaking out. Dad finally saw mom freak out. Mom don't freak out very often. And he goes, "My little brother used to do this," and he pulled up the blanket. And sure as hell, there's David sound asleep, literally right laying on her stomach, laying between her legs.
Fun story. Good ending.
It's a great ending. And, I'm very thankful to law enforcement and to the hotel and everybody that, helped us with that. But because I was open and honest with law enforcement at the beginning before we even got there, letting them know that we've never traveled before, he's never stayed at a hotel before, this is all new, they always made sure they did extra rounds around the hotel. So
That's
just in
all.
case.
Yeah,
The naval park was phenomenal. They had, you know, the cool part is with the naval park is that they have so many people involved in that naval park that are special ed teachers, if they're not their spouses or other individuals that have experience with the situation. We had a lot of people around us that knew how to deal with situations so that if the kids would have a meltdown, there was always somebody there to help dad because we've never been on a trip with the kids. So, and dad's never dealt with the kids without me being there in public. It's always been a family trip, family things. And with me, doing what I was doing, I was left him to deal with a lot that weekend. And there were so many people involved willing to help. Granted, we didn't have any issues. We didn't need to use any backup plans. The kids had a blast.
that's the good part, that the kids had a blast.
Oh, they talk about going back every year.
And of course, we're getting ready to welcome you to be back. We've already started the plans for you to be coming back to Buffalo this July 4th special
Correct.
weekend.
And that's
what,
the plan. We'll be up for 4th of July.
and the nice part about it, that naval base is the largest naval station in the United States of America. Wow, very
It,
impressive.
it is. And the best part is you get to step foot in places that history happened. The Sullivan ship, is it still there? Or do they take it to fix it?
No, they're at the end of the season. They're taking it down to dry dock down in Toledo, Ohio, to rebuild the hull. But that's not till the end of the season.
I mean, we got fortunate enough that when we were there that day, we got to meet 2 gentlemen on the Sullivan ship that were on it when the Sullivan brothers were killed and knew the boys. We got to hear those stories. You know, you have the Little Rock who had, had history of its own. You have a submarine that had, you get to actually experience all these different historical events that you read about and see what and feel what the people go through, especially the submarine. I mean, you imagine, being in a submarine now, how it's got a little more room.
Yeah,
Seeing that submarine is like claustrophobic panic attack and
you're
trying to live
absolutely
on that thing for months on end.
you're absolutely right about that, Mary. It is claustrophobic. I did tour on it once, and it was a once in a lifetime experience. I'm glad I did it because I know and understand what kind of sacrifice our veterans in the Navy that sacrifice their lives. It's to be able to defend us. And the USS Croker was a really neat submarine. You think about it, they go in a tube underwater, and it's a diesel engine, so they have to come up at night to open the forts up so they can get the air to breathe because the fumes would kill you. And so now it's nuclear powered and that's all sealed in. And we now have HEPA filters. They can circulate the air and recreate fresh air. And now the Nautilus was the first one to go around the world under the North Pole and stay on. For 6 months, they were underwater. Now they're coming up for air. That's a miracle. And we have veterans that still to this day are serving.
We have service members that are still serving.
Yes. Hey, another service, by the way, that the Golden Rule Society and the Hope Collection offer to everybody listening on the show, Mary, is right now, because of the last 4 years of what economics have been, people might notice that, they've been paying on their bills every month, but they haven't gone down. And that's because the interest rates that banks and credit cards have been paying or charging and it went up substantially. And by the way, it hasn't gone down. So we have a program from Cambridge Finance where you can get without locking yourself down, but it's secure, it's safe, and it's personal, private. A program that you can sign up for and work with an advisor that comes to us from the Hope Golden Rule Society Cambridge Company. They exclusively work for people with our organization, and they're a nonprofit. They do this program. Now, I will tell you, there's no upfront costs. They do, over the period of solving your issues, they do absorb a $50 fee for helping you get rid of all those overpriced charges. Most people don't know that if you miss a payment by a day, the interest rate kicks in on the balance of what you owe. Plus, they usually charge you a $30 or $50 fee. Now, this Cambridge program can eliminate all those kinds of things. I personally, before we came to support this and advertise it, I took advantage of it. I was able to lower my monthly bills, the whole package, a total of $500 a month. So we have a $500 a month for the last year. We've been doing it now for almost a full year. We have saved $500 a month in what we were paying out that didn't lower the bill. That was just a fee. But we were able to save and use in our life to live our life in spite of the inflation. We were able to have a better life because we use this system. I have, and you can use this system, and we give you this number. It's 888-491-7830. You call in, you will receive a call. The person will identify themselves as the Hope Cambridge counselor. And this is a direct line, and you work with them confidentially, and it's all voluntary, and you have to do this stuff. But they set it up so that it's a great program. They literally take care of paying the bills and securing everything, and they secure the negotiation on it. By the way, this is not the federal government forgiveness program where you don't have to pay your bills. You can be honest. You hold your head up. You're actually going to be paying your bill off. Just that they set it up and they change the configuration so you don't get taken advantage of. So right now we can help families improve their economics in their household, and we can do that right now. It's still running, and we are exclusive with Cambridge. So I hope you feel free to take advantage of it. You can always call us back, and we'll be more than glad to share it with you, or it's on our site.
That's a big round of applause Ron and Mary, God bless you both. Great show. Keep up your great work. Ladies and gentlemen, happy May Day to all of you.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see you at the port, the hotel on Sunday afternoon.
We'll be there.
All right, Len.
God
Thanks,
bless.
everyone.
Bye bye for now.
Bye bye. Thanks, Mary.